Hello, welcome to the Black Salt Mirror. I have a tarot reading for you today. I got another new tarot deck, and it's called the Jack-o'-lantern Tarot. And the art is quite similar to the pre-Raphaelite deck that I got recently and that I've been using on the channel. However, there are a lot more bats and skeletons and pumpkins. The pumpkins. I was also going through it yesterday, noticing that vultures show up quite a bit throughout the deck. Like here on the back of the Queen of Swords. And where I am right now is a very suburban southern area. And I grew up here. I was here for most of the first 30 years, and I'm back. And I've never, ever seen a vulture in the suburbs here until today. I was coming back from a walk with my dog, and right there in the middle of the road, eating something, roadkill, was a vulture. It's a really pretty bird. These lovely brown feathers. It has some kind of pattern in the bald head. And after seeing vultures last night when I was looking through this deck, and seeing a vulture here in the suburbs, as a sign, and I don't know what it meant. But birds have been coming up so much recently, and when something like this happens where something so out of the ordinary shows up, and something very recognizable and unique like a vulture, everybody knows what vultures are. They know what they symbolize. Strength. It's going to be a change is coming. And you're going to need to be strong. There's a lot that I've seen lately here. I didn't remember growing up with crows, because I had lived abroad. I'd been in Germany where there are lots of crows, and I think they're beautiful. And I remember when I was leaving, I was like, oh, it's a shame I'm leaving the crows, because I don't have any recollection of seeing crows. But there are crows here, and there have been since I moved back, and they are frequently in my neighborhood here, outside my window, and I can hear them calling when I'm out walking. And that's not something I'd experienced before either. All of these birds. In this neighborhood I'm in, I also see a lot of birds that I don't see very frequently. They are native, but there's one again on the bottom. As I'm shuffling, the vulture waits. As with many carrion eaters, they will stand around or wait around. Piranha do the same thing until the food that they want is freshly dead. Because you don't want your food to fight you. They're not predators. So with piranhas, they'll send like a little scout out to take a nibble. And if there's a strong reaction, they'll wait. Vultures are the same. They'll stand around and they'll wait until the animal stops moving. They want it fresh because bacteria can set in and insects can get into it. And the kind of things that eat longer dead are different from the things that eat fresh dead. And things like vultures are fresh dead. So they wait. And then they feast. And it's a very fascinating thing, because everyone has their own niche. Everyone eats something. Everybody eats something different. And I don't know that there's a lot of competition for carrion. We've got the Ace of Wands on the bottom. I also really like what they do with the clouds in this deck. They frequently have faces in them. This one even has an owl and a woman's face on this side. And there are 3 heads on the wand, which is reminiscent of the triple goddesses. There is a time coming now with a different kingdom. And many of the old ways are returning. the old wisdom, the wisdom that passes down through the female line. And the knowledge is coming back of the old goddesses and the old kingdoms. And the clouds and the strength. You can also see Our Lady over here peeking around, seeing what's going on. Hey, what are you doing with that lion? And the trees are alive in this deck. They have faces and bodies. We've got the King of Wands and their living tree back here. And his staff also has the skull on it. He stood out to me when I was going through the deck. He wears his kingdom on his head in his crown. And he sits with his feet in the pumpkin. There's some symbolism to the pumpkins in this deck that I haven't figured out yet, but I could start getting inklings of it when I was going through it, what they mean. There's a lot of owls too. What does he have? He's got birds on his chest. There's something coming, something new, but you are tired. I like how there's a little skeleton hand. Because the old kingdom is dead now, and the vultures have arrived to feed on it. He's got some kind of can here in front of his hat. I can't tell if that's a bird or an iris flower. You've been on this path for a very long time, alone. And you could feel the change, but you didn't have a good sense for how it was affecting everything around you because you weren't connected. You'd gone into hermit mode. So now you can't see as well what's happening around you, what's happening with people. I actually want to grab my Pluto Oracle. There's a significance to where Pluto's been for a while now in Aquarius. And it had gone through early Aquarius and now it's going back. It's in retrograde, staying in the early parts of Aquarius. I think it was at 5 degrees when I checked yesterday. It's around there. And this is a deck of shadow puppets. Got the scorpion on the back for Scorpio, since that's what Pluto rules. A lion, just like our strength card. See the hands. There are strong messages, and there's a volcano coming out of the lion's head. Sometimes strength can be read as a part of you, not you as separate from the lion, but the lion as a part of your nature that you have tamed, the wilder parts, the more animalistic, who react when they feel an emotion, who don't separate themselves and engage in society in a civilized manner. And that's what I see when I see the love coming out of the lion's head. However, the lion is a shadow, like everything in this deck. The frog also appears. This one though has a butterfly on the hand, and it's more peaceful. The tranquil colors, kind of like the swamps that the volcanoes feed. Because the burning through forest fires and through lava is very nutritious for ecosystems. And they're saying the nature that you have, that you've been hiding, it's because you feel like it's not appropriate for society. You feel like it's uncivilized, or you've been told that it has no place. It could be an anger. It's frequently anger when you've been through things. The anger gets pushed down, and you have the anger from the thing that happened to you, and you have the anger of having to suppress who you are. It's a compounded anger. And then when it comes back out, you have another anger of having to go through it all again and of having been subjected to that. So it's always more painful coming back out than going back in than when it went in the first place. And maybe you're at a point where you feel like you're going to explode. But what they're saying is that will be beneficial. After the explosion, what comes from it is your manifestation. This thing that you've been ignoring is what turns you into the magician that can manifest your kingdom the way you're meant to be. And particularly to come alive with nature. All of these living trees stand out to me. And it connects you back to what you were and what you remember from the past and what you knew to be true. So they're saying this is a part of your process, letting this out. The magician sitting in the bottom of the deck, I didn't realize that's what that was. You are the magician. You are the one who decides. You see the skull on top of his wand here? And the cup that was offered in the Four of Cups is here. The other two are laying on the table. The other three. That's not the wand from the wands. The wand from the wand is here. And the pentacles and the swords. This is a different wand. This is fire. This is elemental fire. It's the thing that happened. It's death in the abstract. It is the fifth element of spirit that acts upon the other four to make them alchemize. And that is what you're holding in your hand. The death of an age. The Aquarian, newness. That's why Pluto's going back. I mean, yes, it was going to go back anyway, but now, that's why this is coming through. Is because they're saying you've seen it now as Pluto went forward. And now that you're going to go back, you're empowered with the skull wand. And you're going to act on this thing that you've been offered. Here in the Four of Cups. And then this power that you have is going to manifest into something real. No longer abstract. The volcano, the part of you that you've been suppressing, you've been holding down. And here they are, the clouds, like, what are you doing there? That's why. She's calming the lion, and the lion looks distraught. It's because you've been holding this part in you for too long. For peace. The butterfly. And they don't want you to anymore. They said no more. Now is the time to come out. The shift has happened. We are in the new kingdom. But you are the one who has to bring it into fruition. And I'm drawn to the fact that the lemniscate on her hat, normally the lemniscate is this way, horizontal, but here it's upright. Things have been shifted. I've talked about being in the upside down many times before. This is what it is. Now it's you. Now you're the manifestor. Now you're the creator, the creation. And you have to go forward and you have to do it so that this new realm that we've moved into can be seated. Because you're the one who has the till and the seeds, and you can call the water. The bottom of the deck is the mallard. Interesting. When I was looking at this hand gesture that they're doing here, I got this strangulation, and the hand is here at the mallard's throat. There's something you're choking back. There's some expression that you are stifling in yourself. There's something that needs to come out. And the vulture was a symbol of the death, of the ability and the time when you were doing that. Not only shouldn't you do that anymore, you can't. If you don't allow it to come out in a way that you choose, it will come out on its own. And it could be very chaotic. You need to start letting it out. You need to start expressing yourself. You need to start processing everything that's sitting within you. And you need to create this new paradigm, this new world. You need to manifest this world for everyone else. Because it's here, but it needs to be fertile. And you need to be the one to do that. And that's what they're telling you. The other deck that I had grabbed for this reading is the Unicorns deck by Paolo Barbieri. However, all the cards in this deck are unicorns, and they say not a something, not a centaur, fighting spirit. This is the unicorn. Not a cat, hunting. They all say not a something, whatever it looks like, because they're all unicorns. And the message from that, along with the centaur, I'll tell you about that in a sec, is that the concept of a unicorn, colloquially, is the unique one that has the magic. Like, you're the unicorn, you're the one that makes it happen. However, you don't feel like a unicorn because you look like something else. And they're saying that's the point. If you had looked like a unicorn, they would have found you and they would have taken you out. The opposition. There is an opposition. Don't worry about them now. But because you look like something else, because you look like a cat, because you look like a centaur, they didn't think you were the unicorn. That was part of the point. But it also tricked you for a long time. You also believed that you weren't the one to do it. And they're saying, no, it was just a shield. Chiron was the centaur. Chiron is the first centaur, astronomically. The first thing in the sky identified as a centaur and named after a centaur. You can read about it online, it's very cool. And Chiron was a healer before he got shot with an arrow. He was shot with a poison arrow, but because he was immortal, he didn't die. He just suffered a lot, and he kept healing people. And that's your calling. You are the thing that suffered and can't heal, but you were put here to heal others. And the pain that you experience is the human condition. That is the poison arrow, is this existence. That is the spear in your side. Being here, it's a suffering, and you know this. You've known this for a while, that you're here to help others, you're here to heal them, and you're here to suffer for doing it. It was a bargain you struck a long time ago in payment for something else. This shield is interesting because it looks a lot like a mask for me. If I just saw a picture of this, I would think it was a face mask, a helmet, because it's got the eye holes and it looks like certain stylistic. These shiny decks don't work with the ring lights, but you see, he's a unicorn. His hair looks like feathers, because we always talk about feathers on this channel, and flying, and growing wings, and birds, and butterflies. I will be getting more bird decks in the future. Just you wait. But you're not a centaur. You are not an immortal thing that was a healer prior. You are not shot with a poisonous arrow that you will continue to suffer through. You are suffering because you are here. And you are here to heal the world. With your nature that you came with, that you've been hiding so that you didn't look like a unicorn. But now is the time to come out and to let it all out, specifically of your throat chakra. And that might not be actually communicating with words. It could be any kind of expression, whatever your art form is, whatever your craft is, however you express yourself. It could be dancing, whatever it is. But it needs to come out because that's where it comes out, from the heart to the throat. And they will help you in this mission of yours. And I will be here for you as you are my collective, and I'm here to help communicate in the way that I can to help you forward. Don't let them stifle you though, because it's you now that will be holding yourself back. The volcano needs to explode so that the wildlife has nutrients. Some ecosystems are built for it. This ecosystem is built for you. I feel like there's more to say, but I can't think of it. So I'll do the shorts and maybe it'll come out there. I love you all. I'll see you very soon.